It is December 15th, which makes about 90% of the league eligible to be traded. It is the opening of NBA trade season, ladies and gentlemen. So I asked Twitter, who are the top trade candidates this season? And I want to just tell you whether or not I believe they will get traded and where to. And even if I don't believe they will get traded, I'm going to tell you the team, if they were to be traded, a team I would like them to be on. Are we ready? Starting off with the biggest name imaginable, one of the top players in all of basketball, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Do I believe he will be traded this season? Bucks fans, don't turn off the episode. I promise you, we're going to get you back. I'm going to say yes. I do believe Giannis will be traded. There is a report, and sometimes you have to take a report with a grain of salt. Giannis has been one that's been very adamant about it. If you didn't hear from me, it didn't happen. But one of the reports was like, what's high on Giannis's things that he want if he is traded is a big market. Cool. I mean, that makes sense. A chance to win a championship definitely makes sense. That's the whole reason he would potentially win out of Milwaukee. And then sun. He wants to go to a city where he got some sun. He's tired of the Midwest winters. And you know what? Me too. It's 0 degrees outside as I'm filming this episode. Wind chills got it minus whatever. So I agree with you, Giannis. I don't want to be traded though. Resign me here with the team at NBC, please. But son, all right. So if Giannis wants all of that, let's get him to a team where meets the criteria. Big market team, check. Got some sun, check. What was the other one? Chance to win a championship, check. I got him going to the Atlanta Hawks. I think out of all of the individual assets, individual assets you could potentially get for Giannis, that Pelicans pick is the best one. And again, I don't know if the Hawks are really in the sweepstakes. I don't know if they care to even want to go get Giannis. But if there was one individual asset I would want if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, it is that pick. And then you can add, a Reza Shea, give us back Trae Young because, hey, Trae Young on my list. I'm going to say yes to Milwaukee. Bring us back Trae Young because that does not allow us to be good, don't get me wrong, but allow us to be competitive on a nightly basis while we can go out there and hope that the Pelicans continue to lose. If we don't have the access to our own first-round picks, then we might as well try to put together the best possible team while the Miles Turner contract's still there. Maybe he's the one to get traded as well. But I'm okay with the form of that trade. More has to be in it, obviously. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. But if it is a Trae Young, if it is a Reza Shea, give us Asa Noor, give us that Pelicans pick, give us a little bit more pick value on top of that, then maybe we have a little bit of a deal, and that fits the criteria. Atlanta's a beautiful, beautiful place. What is Atlanta weather right now? It's sunny. It is sunny right now, Giannis. And also 34 degrees. But it's sunny. You didn't say it needed to be warm. You just wanted the sun, and damn it, Atlanta could get you the sun. The number 2 name, according to Twitter, is Lauri Markkanen, a guy that has been in trade rumors for quite some time. He couldn't get traded at all last season after signing that big old extension. He played relatively poor compared to his previous season, and they were like, man, Danny Ainge should have popped him off when he could because we don't know if he's ever going to be back to it. He's averaging close to 28 points per game. Again, y'all, he's back. All that being said, though, Danny Ainge is such a person that I can't read. So I'm going to say Lauri does not get traded this season. He does finish this season out a part of the Utah Jazz. But if he was going to be traded, I mentioned it a bunch of times on the show before, my number 1 team for him would be the Pistons. I mean, based on the conversation I just had about the Spurs, maybe the Spurs are another good team that if you're not going to go get Giannis, you don't want to spend that level of assets, maybe you try to go get Lauri Markkanen, who alongside Giannis, alongside Wemby makes a ton of sense. I don't know, man. The next name on my list is Ja Morant. I don't think Ja's getting traded. A lot of those guards, I know I already said yes to Trae Young because Trae Young is in the Giannis potential trade. Between Ja, between LaMelo, between some of these other really good, in theory, point guards that are available, it's hard for me to find the teams that will be trading for them unless the value is all the way in the gutter. And the one team that if Ja Morant was going to be traded that kind of makes some sense to me is the Miami Heat. That may not make sense to Heat fans. That may not make sense to Ja Morant because Ja Morant just got his coach fired for running this no high pick and roll system. And I'm sending them to a team that's doing the exact same thing. Hell, it's literally the same coach. Coming in helping the Miami Heat do that. But it's something about the Miami Heat star chasing, and Ja Morant objectively is a star. Is he playing like one right now? Absolutely not. But if you can get to Miami, then maybe that changes. I also thought about the Toronto Raptors a little bit, but I saved them for another player. Anthony Davis is next. He is another one of the big names in the market. We saw the report that maybe the Dallas Mavericks act more like buyers this deadline. And I thought that might be a little bit of smoke, right? Because we all assume that Anthony Davis will be traded. But if we tell the world that, no, we actually buyers right now, that maybe that gives us a little bit more value on an Anthony Davis trade. And we have at least a few teams that are interested. But I truly don't believe Anthony Davis will be traded, though. As of today, December 15th, I got a vibe that they aren't trading AD. I don't know. I don't think so. But if he was going to be traded, I think the Raptors are that team. I think it makes some sense there. Trying to make the contracts work is really difficult, right? Between Anthony Davis, it will probably have to be RJ and quickly. Do you want to trade two starters there? Maybe Jakob Poeltl's in it because Derek Lively is going to miss the rest of the season. I don't know. Again, I didn't formulate the trades. I'm just telling you the team that I kind of like the fit of it. And the Toronto Raptors have been a team that has showed us time and time again that we're not going to go get free agents, but we are willing to pay players that we trade for. And Anthony Davis and his camp is saying, if you trade for us, we want that bag. And I do believe that if there's any team that will be willing to give him that bag, it will be them. Him, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram still there. It's not the best on paper, but I could see it working out. And they just completely buy into being a high-level defensive-oriented team and let that be it. The next name on the list, I'm realizing this is not ranked in the talent level of the player, but just the names that came up. Jonathan Kuminga is 100% getting traded. He is one of the people that is in the 10% that can't get traded today, but he's got to wait to the middle of January because of when he signed his contract. So he's getting DMPs again. Do you remember the first episode of the week when the season started? And we was like, yeah, man, Jonathan Kuminga, bro. He's finally being the guy that they need him to be. And now here we are, DMPs. He's 100% getting traded. It makes no sense for him to sit back on this team. And the team that makes the most sense to me is the Sacramento Kings. They were in on him last season. I don't know if that's revolving around Malik Monk, who I guess the Warriors were saying they didn't want in the first place. But I actually think that Malik Monk can add a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of speed that the Golden State Warriors could use. And we've seen Malik Monk be on good teams. He ain't on a good team right now. We've seen him be on good teams and still be able to play good basketball. He's not one of those guys that, yeah, he's averaging this amount of points because he's playing for this Sacramento Kings. He's not that type of guy, in my opinion. So I think that Jonathan Kuminga gets to go to Sacramento, start every single game. Him and Russell Westbrook, whoa, they're going to be nice. The next name we have is Zion Williamson. I just don't see him getting traded. I don't think it makes sense for the value of Joe Dumars to trade him now. But maybe it doesn't matter to Joe Dumars because there's a rumor that the pick that they traded to Atlanta, Joe Dumars and his team didn't even know what they were trading away. So maybe they don't know. But I don't think the value is nearly as good enough to make it so that you're trading Zion Williamson as today. But if he was going to be traded, send him here. Send him here. Yeah, send him to Chicago. Next name on the list is Anfernee Simons. I'm saying yes on Anfernee Simons. I think that this is going to be an interesting play for the Boston Celtics because it seems like Jason Tatum's going to come back this season at some point. And if he's coming back and the Eastern Conference is what it is, we just had a whole segment about whether or not a preseason top contender in the Cavs or even a contender today. The conference is all the way open. Jason Tatum comes back. And I think there's a world where Simons and whatever is flipped to go get a center that they really like. There's a conversation that the Neemias Queta is that guy because he is one of the best on-off players in all of basketball. But I do have Anfernee Simons going to the Clippers because that would mean that Big Zoo is traded. And I was asked by the guys in the panel of numbers on the board that if you are the Clippers, does it make sense to trade away Zubac now because he is one of the few people with real value on the team? And I fought with it for some time, and I thought that, yeah, it does make some sense to try to maximize the value that you could get for Zoo. It still would allow you in theory to be the 2027 buyers that you want. But if you can stockpile some of the assets now by trading away Zoo, I could see a world where that makes sense. You know, Kawhi doesn't have a ton of value. James probably won't have a ton of value. They're not valueless, don't get me wrong. But the one guy on your roster that would have like real trade value and teams would trade you real picks or maybe trade you a real prospect is Big Zoo. The last name I have on my list is Trey Murphy III. I think the Pelicans in general are just one of the biggest wild cards of this trade season. But I will say, when it comes to Trey Murphy III, I will say no. I know Warriors fans want him. I know Pistons fans want him, and that's the team I had him, by the way. If he was going to get traded, I like the idea of going to the Pistons, boy. A lot of teams want a guy like Trey Murphy III, who is an elite level shooter and can shoot it from 30+ feet and has showed you that, like, he's not necessarily, he's maybe a better defender in theory, but I've seen him really get in that chair, and that's what you need in the playoffs. So those are the top 10 guys And whether or not I think they will or will not be traded